what plans have you got to expand and grow and build in Second Life?
Maybe I can actually help out with interviews, and you never know when you look at the actual questions we have next. If people find those interesting, if I find my answers interesting, for example, I can come along and do these.
Where did you study in Tibet? It sounds influential.
I didn't study in Tibet, in actual fact. Lhasa was always the dream place for me to go. I was in Beijing, and there was a monastery there when I was working. I was a consultant for 13 theme parks in China. And while I was working over there, I sought out the nearest Tibetan monastery I could find. And that's how I was doing the studying. It was a specific task I needed to do because of one of my guides. Come way, way back. A person that believes exactly in higher realms and gods as such. Because I believe that you don't just make it from here straight to spirit and that's the end of it. I believe we continue and continue to learn. And if you do that, logic says that if you continue to learn enough about the universe, you will be a godlike character if you look from our perspective. Again, it's easy to sit here and look back over 30 years of working and say, well, yeah, we do that and we do this and we do that. But let's be honest about it. When you're breaking through and clearing your chakras and trying to get your mindset into the right place, my God, is it hell. You do a lot of praying. You do a lot of, why me? Why me? Type of situation. Yes, I've been blocked. One of the problems also when you set off doing this kind of work, and especially if you start doing teaching or lecturing, is that you are under attack. The answer straight away is yes. Okay? But there's a BUT on that one. The person protecting the group has to be strong. They have to know what they're doing. And they can't participate in anything to do with that group at the time they're doing it. If it's an astral, it's much, much easier to do. If you're talking about doing it on this plane, we have people in our groups that do that, only that. We have people that actually protect the group. We have people that give us power and energy so we can actually do our work. And these are very, very important jobs. And actually finding jobs for the people in the group is, an important part of the whole. It shouldn't ever be forgotten.
Did it scare the heck out of you to be a channeler as it did me?
Channeling would come through when I'm lecturing. But I can imagine, I have students that have moved into that area. And of course they've been terrified, especially when they lose control of their own body. And they can look from the outside looking in. As many channelers, of course, do hover around, just slightly outside of their own body. Especially if they've been doing it for quite a while. In actual fact, Reiki is not a healing energy. It's only used for healing. It's an energy system. And that's what Reiki really is. And the symbology of it is simply many, many, many wiser people than us that went before us set up power and energy in thought form into symbology. And a good Reiki master will pass that on to his students. The problem is you can't really pass it on to about 30 students at a time, which is what they do now. 6 is about the maximum you can do. And so it's a great shame because it's an energy system. It's fantastic. It transfers the energy, which the Tibetans would talk about, in the air itself, in the energy around us. And it allows you to convert that into a power or energy that the psychic can use. Then, with your will behind it, you can actually form or help through healing. Some people get good results without necessarily putting the thought forms through on it. But the best results are when you actually do have a feeling of where it should be put, forced, enter, affect the person you're trying to heal. It's quite a complex energy system, but that's just one of its uses. I definitely recommend people take Reiki, but not unless the teacher has got a small class. If they have a larger class, I don't recommend it. Going back to Dragon, thanks for that question. Yes, there is rumours around that it can actually do it without you having to do anything particularly. I don't agree with it. There may be some effect because of the subconscious desire to do it. It's a power and energy system. And to make an energy system work, you have to have a thought form set to it. So to make Reiki really do its job, you have to put a thought form of the healing, of the desire. And more accurate you can be with it, the better. What Reiki does is turn on the chakras that allow that energy to be manipulated.
The person who is being healed can receive the energy, the Reiki, even if they have no understanding.
Totally.
You were referring to the person actually using Reiki and focusing the Reiki, weren't you? Yeah, because the person who is receiving it doesn't actually have to understand it to receive it.
No, they don't. They don't. But don't forget at the same time as that, if a person rejects any form of healing, which we're discussing, they can be quite successful in rejecting it.
Oh, absolutely. I know that.
You have to be open.
It's interesting because if you look at other therapies, things like hypnotherapy, NLP, all of those, we actually work with the resources of the person, and what we are actually doing is guiding them to their own healing resources and their own healing power. What can you say about clairsentience?
The other senses we have is the first and major problem. And going over thousands and thousands of years of training in any monastery or any magical group, the first things is taught how to actually fact guard, how to protect yourself, and then how to control those senses when you open the chakras. Because when they open bad, it becomes just a pain all the time. And of course it can affect you. But done properly, it's not that difficult to learn how to control them. I always say, if you really want to control them, ask for help when healing, even if you don't do healing. Something I found, at the beginning I didn't want to do healing myself, because I always thought, well, this is for other people, and if I don't get it wrong, I'm letting the person down. And there's a lot of pressure on you, for me anyway. So I didn't really get close to doing healing. And later on I found in my studies that healing, like the astral workshops I was telling you about, is an incredible way of protecting yourself and actually helping yourself to guide towards the more balanced person you want to be. Now, I know that people are too strong with it. They can actually exhaust their own energies, and they can exhaust themselves and even age themselves from healing. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about love and giving energies when you pray over someone. I won't go into how it actually works, because that's another subject altogether. But it does help you to control the chakras and that sensitivity. Look after cleaning yourself after you've done your work. Then you've got no problem. A healthy person is extremely powerful against any real problem.
All healing seems to me, from listening to Azar, to actually come from the same place. One light, many paths, but so much of it is similar and so many things overlap. Even therapies which appear to be very physical, like EMDR, which is a therapy which was developed by a neuropsychologist, but her actual basic belief is that the body has a drive to heal itself and the mind has a drive to heal itself, which reminded me powerfully of what Azar was saying about what we really do is we focus and stimulate the healing powers of the individual that we're working with. I'd like to say thank you very much to Azar Sac for sharing not only his experiences of the film industry, but also his wonderful wisdom concerning psychic and healing and channeling and astral travelling. He's a remarkable man, and I would also like to thank him for allowing this to be filmed, and a big thank you to Nina Lancaster for coming along and filming it, and we all look forward to seeing that. Thank you, Nina.